Well, you say within a few minutes of talking to an entrepreneur, you know whether or not you're going to invest in their company. So looking at these small entrepreneurs that are out here, if you were to talk to them and you could say whether they're going to be successful or not, what are some of the cues that you can tell?
You know, here's the interesting thing about success is it comes in, it doesn't see color, it doesn't see shape, it doesn't see age. Yeah. It doesn't see male, female, none of that stuff. So there's no body type, there's no men are more successful than, like I don't see any of that. But there are certain consistent qualities on an ongoing basis that you see in successful businesses versus non-successful business. There's always an anomaly. There's always an anomaly. Somebody wakes up one day, gets the exclusive rights to a product in a region, the product takes off, and they become successful, but you got to play your odds. And the first one is always sales. Sales. People that grow companies understand that business is about selling something. Number two is usually comes down to the CEO and the ability to delegate. You know, one of the catchphrases I always look for in small companies with CEOs is somebody who loves employees. I have a lot of CEOs who say, oh, I hate dealing with employees. Mm-hmm. I hate dealing with employees. You know, if my company was just me, it would be so great because nobody can do it as well as I can do it. Mm-hmm. And I'm thinking, what you just said to me was you love being small. What you just said to me is you love the fact you will be small forever because it's true. Nobody will ever do everything as well as you do, but you better be hiring people that at that one function, they are better than you. So if your accountant isn't better at accounting than you got to fire him or her. But you should be able to do every job in your company to a certain consistent level.
So if you could you expound a little bit on the qualities you see in a successful entrepreneur? You said they are all focused on sales. You said that the CEO has the ability to delegate and love people and, you know, empower them, I guess, lift them up to do the jobs that they need to do. And you said association of risk, but you said you had this gift to, you know, talk with an entrepreneur for just a few moments and know, are they going to be successful? Can you expound on that, please?
Yeah, you know, so those are some of the qualities. I mean, the other qualities, you know, the great thing about life and business is we are not rational beings that happen to be emotional. We are emotional things that try to think rationally. So most relationships, human, personal, are on a subconscious level. And I believe most relationships are based on mutual value. Even personal relationships. I mean, if you get to a point where you don't see value in each other and you don't like hanging out, it's not going to work. And I think sales is so magical. Because think about it. In sales, you're selling a concept to somebody. I mean, you may be selling a hard good, you may be selling a cloud service, you may be selling a managed service, but that person is buying you. They're buying something intangible. I love Robin Williams said, the closest you can get to another human being without sleeping with them is to sell them something. And isn't that true? Isn't there something magical when you get that order? Like, there's just this, yeah, and there's this faith that the person has in you. And so I over time, because I'm actually 87 years old, I've had a lot of facial surgery. I found there's a consistency. And you know what I always say to people is everything I tell you, there's always an anomaly. There's always an anomaly. There's always an outlier.
An exception, yeah.
But you can't build a business based on exception. You've got to play the odds. So one of the other qualities is happiness. How many great entrepreneurs are miserable? How many great business people that you deal with you don't want to be with? I mean, just think about it. If you're the source of joy or you're kind of miserable, forget customers. How are your employees going to deal with you? And that's one of the hardest things about being an owner is You know, people always say you should run a business where you share all the information. Well, I got to tell you, that's crap. Your employees only want to know the good news. I used to share all the information. You know, we used to post our numbers, and we used to bring everybody in and say, things are going great. And it was great until we had a bad quarter. And then when we had a bad quarter, we posted all the numbers, and we said, oh, you know, things aren't going well, and we may have to lay some people off in a few months. And so I felt so good about myself that I was sharing, and I was enabling people with information. And I come in Monday, and our top sales guy quit, and our head of engineering quit. And I'm like, what happened? And so they thought you were going to go out of business, so they went somewhere else. And what I learned out of that is your employees really don't want you to share bad news. You know, they're employees because they don't want to deal with the bad news. The difference between you and the employee is you run the business. Nobody will ever understand how hard it is to run a business except somebody who runs a business. The pain.
Amen.
You know, I have all kinds of friends, and they always say to me, oh, well, you know, I could run a business. I said, really? And I'm like, well, what would you do? Oh, it'd be easy. I just come up with this product, and people would be the path to my door. And people always think that running a business is, you know, I have this, when I do a PowerPoint, I have this slide of a woman, and she's happy, and there's a sign, open for business. And everybody who's not in business thinks that's the typical business day, right? And then I have a slide that shows what people that are in business and are owners, what it's really like. And it's this person screaming, ah! Because you see the naked truth. You worry about payroll. You worry about a customer not paying you. You worry about employees screwing you. I mean, there's just so much stuff that you never fix. The closest analogy I ever heard to running a business is whack-a-mole. Right?
But with a wet noodle.
You guys, you know that game, right? Because, like, even in our business, we just had a big management meeting, and I walked out of it, and I said, oh, my God, this place is such a mess. There's so many problems to fix. Why can't it get any better? And the minute I fix these problems, I guarantee you there's another one that's going to pop up, right? So right now, we're having a problem with sales. We're not selling enough. Engineering is working great. I guarantee you 6 months from now, sales is going to be good, and engineering is going to be a problem. Why can't it just fix itself?
Never ending, yeah.